Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boston Tea Party podcast on the All Day Football Show. I'm your host, Jackson Kellogg, and today we'll be getting into the actual episode 6 now because I tried to post episode 6 last year, but there's some technical difficulties, so I had to delete it. So I'm just going to go with this as episode 6. So it'll be a combination of what was talked about last week and all the normal stuff that goes on for this week. So, getting right into it, topics of the day will be, so instead of doing like predictions and analysis for week 2, it'll be going over a recap of week 2. Still be predictions and analysis for week 3 against the Las Vegas Raiders. That's still so weird to say. Las Vegas, not Oakland. And, as always, transactions from the last week. So, on Sunday night, the New England Patriots went in to Seattle. It was a very good game. Very good. They did lose 35-30. Geez, 3 of the last 4 meetings between the Patriots and the Seahawks have ended on the 1-yard line. 3 of the last 4. That's crazy. This time it didn't go in the Patriots' favor, as Cam Newton tried to take a designed quarterback run to the left inside and got stuffed. So lost 35-30. That's all right though, because it showed a great performance by the Patriots offense. But as much of a great performance that Cam Newton had, we'll get into that in a second. Russell Wilson had an MVP performance against the Patriots. So one of the predictions that I had in what would have been last week's episode was I predicted that Cam Newton was going to throw at least 1 interception. And he threw it on the first drive. And I saw it happen. I was so ecstatic. I'm like, this is going to be such an easy game, blah, 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 blah. And then Russell Wilson went and threw for 5 touchdowns afterward. And no more interceptions. And so that was a little rough. But great performance by Russell Wilson. You got to give it to him. He handled this game very well. He's definitely at the top in the MVP race right now. Probably followed closely behind by Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, possibly even Cam Newton. But I think right now Cam Newton's going to be going for that comeback player of the year. And Cam Newton, now that we're on the topic of him, looks better than 2015 Cam Newton, in my opinion. Comparing how they both play, Cam Newton makes better decisions. He still has all the athleticism that he did pre-injuries, and he looks like what Lamar Jackson was for teams last year, and where you had to worry about both the run and pass between them. And it'll be a lot different this year because Cam Newton, I feel, as much as the Patriots receivers don't get a ton of praise, I do think it's a better core than what Baltimore has. I mean, yeah, Marquise Brown's a good receiver. Mark Andrews is a top 10 tight end. But, I mean, when the Patriots have the squirrel putting up a career performance in, something like 9 receptions, 172 yards. It was crazy. Great performance by Edelman. And that's just a factor of what's going to come. N'Keal Harry and Damiere Byrd both had 72 yards receiving with a handful of receptions for each of them. So great performance by our receiving core. Tight ends got to look a bit better. Some negativities that did come out from the game, though, is the running backs did not show up to the game, I don't think, because between Sony Michel and Rex Burkhead, they had combined around 30 yards total. It was absolutely ridiculous, on the ground at least. Michel had around a dozen carries for 17 yards or something like that, and Rex Burkhead was averaging under a yard a carry for the game. So very poor performance by the running backs. They're going to have to get better for the games to come, because if the Patriots don't have a running game and it's gonna be Cam Newton running the ball every time, that's not good for Cam Newton's health. And the Pats got to do the best they can to keep Cam Newton healthy. Switching over to the defensive side, there was just abysmal play on every single level of that defense. That was one of the worst performances ever by the Patriots secondary. Miscommunications. They let Russell Wilson throw perfect balls. That DK Metcalf touchdown and the David Moore touchdown, those should not have been touchdowns. They were covered great, but if they were covered perfect, they wouldn't have been touchdowns. So definitely got to get better on that front. I do not understand the scheme the Patriots went into for that week. So they went in with so if you want to go just by base sets, it was a 5-1-5, meaning 5 players on the defensive line. So they had Lawrence Guy, Adam Butler, and Dietrich Wise in the middle, John Simon and Chase Winovich taking the edge, and then it was the one they used was Jawan Bentley. And the issue I have with that is Jawan Bentley is a run stuffer. He's not like a pass coverage linebacker. So that was really annoying when they tried to use him as a spy because he's not built for that. He's a slow, watch where the running back's going to go and go to that spot. That's playing a spy on Russell Wilson of all people is not his job. So that wasn't a great idea. What they should have done was gone like a 4-3. You get and make one of the 3 linebackers, Adrian Phillips. That would have been a much better idea in my opinion, because then you could get a safety. You could go cover 1 and drop the safety down to play spy. So that would have been a much better approach, because then you can stop the run. You focus on man coverage. The Patriots ran mostly zone coverage in the first half and even a bit into the second half. That was not a great idea either. So the Patriots tried to get away from what they do best on defense, and it didn't work, and it showed with them allowing 35 points and way too many big plays. So they're going to have to fix some of that going against the Raiders this week. So now, going into the Raiders game, Derek Carr is performing great for the Raiders. All the talk like Derek Carr is going to lose his job to Marcus Mariota. Yeah, what happened to that, guys? Because I don't see Marcus Mariota anywhere. Derek Carr's playing great. So the defense just played decently against the Saints offense. Granted, they were without Michael Thomas. So the key to this game for the Patriots is going to be getting the running backs going. If Michel doesn't have like 15 carries with 70 yards in this game, or either of those numbers at the very least, that's not going to be a great performance. Michel kind of needs to perform well this year because this is a 5th-year option year for him. And if as much as I like Cam Newton as the Patriots quarterback right now, Michel was taken 1 spot ahead of Lamar Jackson. So just to put that in your head, we would have been able to get rid of Brady a year ago, and we could have had Lamar Jackson running this team right now. But instead, we have Sony Michel, who had 1 good playoff run and has been abysmal since. So I still have hope for him, but they got to get him going. And this is the perfect game to do it against the Raiders defense that can be pretty inconsistent. So the key for the Patriots on defense this week is going to be stopping Darren Waller. The Raiders have a bunch of good, not great wide receivers. Hunter Renfrow is pretty decent. Henry Ruggs is developing, except he was a no-show last week against the Saints, getting 1 reception for 4 yards. But the big target for Derek Carr is Darren Waller, their tight end. And I think this is his 2nd year with the Raiders. He was previously a Baltimore Raven, actually. But he was racking up stats on Monday night against the Saints. He had something like 10 receptions for over 100 yards and a touchdown. So the key that they're going to have to do to stop Darren Waller is if they go, so you've got, if they're going to run Josh Jacobs, you still have to figure out a way to stop the run. 4-3 is probably the Patriots' best bet to go this year. or go like a 4-2-5. Like if you get Adam Butler and Lawrence Guy in the center, you can stop the run with bigger guys. You get Simon and Winovich on the edges, rotate like Dietrich Wise and Derek Rivers in there. You get edge coverage. Then in linebackers, you can throw Bentley as a run stuffer and Adrian Phillips as a pass coverage. So that'd be a perfect idea. And then you get 5 defensive backs. You go Gilmore, Jason McCourty. Jason McCourty hasn't played very well this year, and I think they should start giving more snaps to J.C. Jackson. So if they rotate between them two and then put Jonathan Jones in the slot, and then Devin McCourty and Kyle Duggar back at safety, and then they got to go man coverage on Darren Waller with not a safety. If they throw either Jonathan Jones or rotate in Jawan Williams to play safety for a little bit, or just go to one-on-one with Darren Waller, that'd be a good idea because Jawan Williams' build is meant to take on tight ends like Darren Waller, so it'd be a perfect scheme to stop Darren Waller and then focus on man coverage with the wide receivers. They're definitely going to have to play a safety over the top like McCourty, though, to watch any Henry Ruggs bombs. Getting into my predictions for the game, I've got the Patriots winning 38-27. Just basing off of, like, Patriots allowed more points to a better Seahawks offense and scored a decent amount on a better Seahawks defense than both the Raiders have. So just giving them a little bit more points and a little bit better performance on defense. N'Keal Harry and Julian Edelman will both get touchdowns in this game. Cam Newton has been slowly working in N'Keal Harry into this offense, and I think that's great for his development, something that Brady didn't want to do. He didn't want to develop receivers, so this is great to see. Edelman's going to be his squirrely self and go get himself a touchdown after his big performance last week. And the biggest prediction for going into this game is going to be no Raiders receiver is going to have over 65 yards receiving. So that includes all the wide receivers, Darren Waller, Jason Witten, Josh Jacobs, and Jalen Richard. None of them are going to have over 65 yards receiving. Running, I have no idea, considering the Patriots' run defense. But no receiver over 65 yards receiving for this game. Now, as always, weekly transactions. Yadni Kajust and Gunnar Olszewski both went on IR. So this means that with the new rules in place for COVID this year, you can take a player off IR after 3 weeks. So this happened before the Week 2 match, so both of these players could be back and playing for Week 5. That'd be a good time frame for them. Miles Bryant and Nick Folk were both signed to the 53-man roster. Miles Bryant didn't play in the game against Seattle. I think that's just more for depth at the position. And I have no clue. Nick Folk was atrocious in that game. If you think about it, the Patriots wouldn't have even had to worry about going for a touchdown if Nick Folk had made that field goal earlier in the game. So I don't understand why they still have him. I'd just be running with the rookie right now, even if he is like inconsistent. Just get him reps in game situations. You're not gonna help his development if he's just gonna sit on the bench and not play on games. Nick Folk is a veteran, but it doesn't mean like he's a good veteran. I'd definitely be looking at better kicking options right now if I were the Patriots. And some practice squad signees included quarterback Jake Dolegala, offensive lineman James Ferentz, and as well as offensive lineman Caleb Beninoch. So both Ferentz and Beninoch have been in the system before. They've been on the practice squad. They've gone through training camps with the Patriots. So I think right now it's just for depth at the O-line spot. They don't have a ton of that right now, especially with Kajus going on IR. And quarterback Jake Dolegala, they must have seen something they liked out of him during his training camp with Cincinnati last year. And they didn't really care for Brian Lewerke, I guess, who was with the Patriots as quarterback 4 during training camp. So and there were jokes that Dole Gallo might be turned into a tight end because he's like 6'7". So if they teach him how to catch and block, that'd be really interesting. But I doubt it happens. I think it's just a emergency just in case if it needs to happen. So those were weekly transactions. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is later than it should have been, but I got it out there. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Again, I can't say it enough. Thank you guys for watching, giving me the attention that I'd like to have for the work that I put into this. It may not seem a lot, but it is. Hope you all have a great day. Get ready for Dolphins-Jaguars on Thursday Night Football, and then Patriots playing the Raiders on Sunday. So let's go Pats.